Welcome to another episode of the Reseller Information Network. We are on show number 11. Hey, man, I can't believe it is 2 weeks out from Christmas or less by the time you guys see this. So we are going to be talking a little bit today with, if you look at our panel, we've got a old school picker with us today. He's coming in, hanging out in the RIN. Longtime friend of mine, and I know he's hung out with some of these guys in the past. So we are going to be diving into some things with him. But we want to first make recognition of a couple of people that had dropped some comments in here for us. And so we want to first reach out to OSflips. Said, real talk, it's about staying consistent with the little things. I've tried to set myself unrealistic goals in the past, and it just doesn't work for me. When I back off and kind of let life flow, then I'm more comfortable and things kind of fall into place in their own way. Takes patience at times, though. eBay is just about half of what I do. I sell a lot on Facebook Marketplace, trailers, refrigerators, air compressors, bigger items. I was wondering if any of you guys do that as well. Thanks. This sure helps. And then Joe Deals said, thanks for the shout out. He's super humbled by all the kind words that we talked about him and his store and the leftovers that he hasn't sold at this point. So he says, for real, thank you guys. The support and info you cultivate will definitely help me to continue to grow in all aspects. Glad to have such a good group of people in my corner. Surround yourself with greatness and you force yourself to rise to that level. So that's kind of where I feel. That's why I always have a great panel of guys here hanging out with me because they definitely do lift our expectation levels of each other. And also encouragement is a big part of what we do. So, man, we're going to go ahead and get into these intros, though. Let's go ahead and jump in from bottom to top, starting out from the lair. We watched him do a little hat stuff today on the Tuesday, listing and loafing. My man, Cernoch.
What's going on? Listen. Oh, look at that already. I didn't even touch my phone. This is what kind of day it's been. Listen, my laptop charger's messed up. My iMac blew up on Saturday. So hopefully before this video drops on Friday, for all the good people, I will be back up and running. We're going live from the phone today. So if you see me pop in and pop out, it's doing some weird stuff. But hey, I'm going to try to keep it 100 with y'all. Listen, I'm excited to have Chris, old school picker here. Awesome guy. Bunch of knowledge from him and the rest of the gang too. So, thanks for him for joining. And yeah, I'm going to try to get everything fixed. Hey, it's Q4. It's Christmas time. 2 weeks left for Christmas. Hey, nothing's going to hold me back. So we're trying to get this thing rolling.
There we go, man. As always, we do appreciate our regular crew for being here. But man, Chris, old school picker, and me go back a minute. Like I think we're going on 3 years knowing each other. Initially we were running it a little in the same circle but different circles, and then actually went to the Highway 127. It was the first time meeting Chris 3 years ago at the 127. So we got Chris with us today, old school picker.
Hey, I appreciate you guys letting me be on. As Eric said, I've met every one of these guys in person besides Cernoch, but I'm going to meet him next year
soon. So, yeah.
And been a fan for all these guys for a long time. Eric, I've probably known the longest and probably picked with the most times. Probably picked with him, oh Lord, I don't know, 20, 25 different days probably.
Yeah.
And I do live within 10 minutes of Highway 127, so I'll always be known for the guy that's local to the 127. That's not really what we're talking about today, but yeah. But I've met all these guys. They're just as genuine in person as they are on camera. And thank you guys for letting me be on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure for us to have you on as well. Leroy's been out doing a little dog catching today, so he's actually coming to you live from the vehicle. And so we're bringing him in from the outdoors. Come on in out of the cold, Leroy.
All right, guys, we got a canine over here going on. I've got a canine. Everybody see a canine? We need a canine. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't realize I was on the show. What's going on, guys? This is what we do on Reseller Information Network. Whatever we got to do, we got to drop phones. We got to go in the van. Whatever we got to do to try to get a video and try to stay with our friends and teach people stuff, that's what we're going to do. Today, I'm having internet issues, so I'm working out of the van. So the signal's decent. And I do want to thank Chris. I was able to meet Chris, and we had a ball. I felt like I knew him. I felt like I knew him for 20 years, and we only hung out for like 5 minutes, and we were just really close. So I'm happy to have him here and all the information that he can help us give you guys as well.
Yeah, it was cool. We actually, me and Leroy and Chris went to Alabama to the Highway 411 and got to stay out there on the lake and see some interesting sights together.
Yeah.
That's for a different channel. But anyway, so last but definitely not least, you filling in my man Tim.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are super stoked, as always, for another episode of Reseller Information Network. Very excited to have Chris rocking with us today. We are getting close. It is crazy. I totally thought today was the 6th. Apparently, it is not. It's more like the 13th, 14th, 12th. We're very no. What day is today?
12th,
13th.
12th, 13th. Okay,
13th.
so yeah, this is scary. I've got to get myself together because I got to get my wife a Christmas present. So, you know, if you guys are looking to help me get a Christmas present for my wife, you can go into the description of this video and find a link to our eBay stores that have specific Reseller Information Network coupon codes that you all can use for a discount on anything in our eBay store. So we're super excited to share that opportunity with all of you. As always, it is that time where I give you guys an update. I have a little bit of sad news for everybody in regards to the 7-Eleven point count total. We have not reached the 100,000 point mark yet. It was a very slow week on the 7-Eleven front, but we are getting there. We're getting close. We're at 99,524 7-Eleven points now, so I'm still working to get there. But see, what happened is, you know, I usually get the Celsius drinks at the 7-Eleven, but Ma Dukes got me a little early Christmas present, and she bought me a case of Celsius from Costco. But we are down to our last 2 of those, so it's time to re-up. So hopefully I can start jacking up them 7-Eleven points and we can get closer to the 100,000 point mark. But yeah, we're going to go over a lot of interesting stuff today. So it's very important that you guys continue to leave questions in the comment sections of all of the videos, because remember, this show is about you guys, not about us. We are trying to give you guys as much information that you guys need right now, today, yesterday, and tomorrow to help kind of crank things up in your reselling career. So I'm excited to get down and dirty and right into the mix of things. So thank you guys, as always, for joining us. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell everybody who's interested in reselling and trying to learn more that you guys don't have to spend a dime. You guys can kind of, you know, come over here and spend a penny, a little penny food for thought here at the Reseller Information Network. And we're super excited for today.
Yeah, I figured it was just too cold for Slurpees this time of year, man. Up there in
Yeah,
DC,
you know,
probably...
I don't know about I don't really get to the Slurpee that much like I used to. I'll tell you, back in the day when I was a little, you know, hooligan running the streets, we used to take the Slurpee cup, right? And we'd fill it up with candy. And then we go to the Slurpee machine and fill it up with Slurpee. And then we would just pay for the Slurpee. But don't do that at home, kids. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, you know, it just reminded me of back in the day when, you know, things were a little bit different.
Little minor larceny guys like that.
Listen, I should have saved that for my hack section, but you know, we're gonna get out of the way here nice and early.
I thought
But
you were going Encino, man. I thought that you were going under the reason.
stop
to
squeezing the
man.
juice. I love that movie. Shout out to Encino, man.
Yeah, I thought you were doing a little Pauly Shore action.
So Tim, you're only 476 points away from 100,000.
Yes.
Nice. And Leroy, can we put Leroy on the screen real quick? This is the clearest we've ever seen Leroy. It took 11 episodes. This is the clearest we've ever seen Leroy.
We have found the spot.
Take it in, y'all.
You're in
Even the
HD, my
lighting's
man.
good, dude. Even
Like,
the lighting is good.
He's extreme HD. It's ridiculous.
Oh, good.
Just wait till those dogs start barking in the back, though. We'll ruin it all.
Hey, I did see a guy walk by your window.
Yeah, they did. He wasn't going to empty the trash.
I was waiting for somebody to tap on the window and be like, "Hey, tap on it."
You keep sleep here.
Thank you, Cernoch. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey guys, so last week we talked a little bit about the TPP, right? We talked about listings. So today we're going to jump into our 101 and we're going to start with titles. So let's jump into it. So what we wanted to do is look up something on eBay and kind of look at people's titles. You know I have learned a ton about title from Cernoch and Tim, to be honest. Like, I know there are other people, like I've watched some other YouTubers, I've watched some other resellers that have talked about title. Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker, shout out Commonwealth, repping him today. On two fronts, Groove for St. Jude, if you're doing his fundraising stuff. But, you know, I know he's talked about it some. I know these guys have talked about it tremendously. So I'm going to put some titles up here. I'm kind of going to let these guys comment on what we got going on. So let's see what we can get. It'll take a second. But title obviously is an important feature when you're selling something on eBay. Now, what I did is I just typed in jacket. Let me see if I got it. Everybody can see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
All right. So I just typed in jacket, and we're just looking at what's for sale in here. 4,200,000 plus
Oh my
results.
God.
Guys, so that tells you I sold a jacket today that I just listed. So I think title may play into some of that a little bit. Now, for me, when we come in here and look at this right out of the gate, like, really, guy? Like, bomber jacket?
Descriptive.
For me, too, like, is this even a bomber jacket?
I
don't know, dude. I don't know. What do you guys think about like this title? Would you ever use a title like this?
no.
Yes,
No way.
Yes. No. I'm just gonna be real quick. If I go into a category and there's too much stuff in there, and there's a lot of other people with all these title words and everything, I will put snap-on 3/4 inch ratchet, and that's it.
Yeah, but this guy has no brand, right? So what are we looking for? Like, what would be one of the first things? Like, if we were listing an item and we wanted to list a jacket.
Well, for me, I deal a lot vintage, right? So
Right.
I don't know what everybody else's thoughts are, but if I have an item that's vintage, I immediately, that's the first word of my title. Anytime something I'm selling is vintage, the first word of my title is going to be vintage.
Same.
I do the same. I was told that you don't have to put it in the front, but I do.
Yeah.
No,
I don't,
no.
you know, and I know some people put VTG.
I do that mostly.
I think if you type in VTG, it will bring up vintage as well as anything that's titled VTG. But to me, it's I don't know. It's a I thing. Like because you get 80 characters in your title. So for me, like I would only use VTG if it was an extreme. I think that there's other options to, oh, look, that's my listing right there. I just listed that today, the green jacket.
This one?
I swear to God, I listed that this morning on Listing and Loafing.
Oh,
Look at this guy, man. He's made the top page, guys, on vintage clothing right here.
So can we jump into? Can we
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9? Number 9.
Can we jump into his title?
So here's his title: Vintage Green Heavy Windbreaker Jacket, Boise Cascade, made in USA, Dunbrook. So is Dunbrook the maker?
The maker of the jacket.
Okay.
So in this particular situation, I went with color as a priority because of it. That being the to me the more standout item of the piece. Now, if it would have been a like a starter or something like that, I would have used the title, the brand first. So
Like
I would have put
jacket below, like the jacket below it says Columbia.
Yeah, exactly. If it would have been, but I think more people are in this particular case. I'm probably not going to have a lot of people searching for Dunbrook jackets.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I put made in the USA as well because if people are generally when people are looking for vintage, they also want to see if something's made in the USA. So to me, I think that's important to put in the title. Now, like, that's not like a really interesting jacket per se. It's a cool jacket. I think it would be good for like a skater or something like that. But like, it's kind of crazy that popped up where it popped up. But like for me, I would always go vintage. If it's a well-known brand, I would put the brand after that. And then probably maybe the type of jacket. Now, I only put sizes in my titles if there's room. And then like I think that's probably something that I could work on. Now, if it's a like a specific size, like or a harder to find size, maybe I might put in the title like something like 3XL or something like that, or extra small maybe. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on sizes and titles when it comes to clothing?
I do it because I'm a big guy. And I search by that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so I'm searching for 3X like when I'm looking for clothes for myself. Like, but that's me. Like I'm maybe for smaller, you do something different.
When I do my stuff, I have to do model numbers. I have to have the model number, and it's very important.
I also think it's interesting, like looking here on the side, right? So, like, if you see here on the side of this listing, and honestly, this is something I've never looked at before because I don't list on desktop. I'm typically on the other. But look here on the side. I think it's interesting to see the features and theme. Like, so these are obviously all searchable categories that people are looking at on the filter, like features. So that might be a good keywords to put in.
Well,
there.
yeah. So like if it's like a pullover like sweatshirt, right? In my title, I might put quarter zip or full zip or button up or those sort of keywords also.
Or if it's got like a hood, I think you would want to put a hood, jacket with hood, or any kind of extra that it comes with.
Buttons or zippers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I do mine, I have a process because I do a lot of vintage clothing. So or just a lot of clothing in general. So I say, is it vintage or not? So if it's vintage leads. If it's not, I go to the brand. Okay. And kind of like with Tim said, if it's a brand that's like blah blah blah, I will usually it'll fall under the vintage category if it's not a brand that everyone knows, because I'm not going to buy something retail arbitrage wise that isn't someone no one knows. So I'll do that, and then I'll put the gender after the brand. Mm-hmm. So it'll be like vintage, Columbia, men's, and then I'll go into the description of what the item is. So it's like color block nylon 3-in-1 jacket. and then I'll put the size XL. And so right there, that's all I need, because I think about when I'm cross listing, my stuff, it's all compact. So I don't have to go. So all the arbitrary type stuff at the end, I can take that off. If I'm doing a Grail listing that only uses 60 characters versus 80 characters, I can take that stuff off of it and not worry about the integrity of the title. So that's how I do mine. Here's the thing too. If you've got weird stuff that you're putting in at the end of your title, I would say rather leave that, because who's gonna be searching for that? Or so
Like
if you have
a
some really,
Medi-share
really obscure thing that you're putting at the end of your listing, leave that out. But model numbers are good, especially with newer stuff. So yeah, like definitely, like even if you have like a Patagonia jacket, a model number might help you out. So doing that where it's it reads like vintage Patagonia men's pullover chinchilla fleece hooded jacket or something like that, size 2XL, and then after that I usually put like the colors, because with colors, to me, if someone's like looking for a certain color, they might go to the sidebar and go, all right, what color do I want? So
Ow.
See, like this is, to me, like I'm down here on this vintage Columbia jacket, men's extra large, but look at this. So they put extra large with extra large, red windbreaker color block, 80s, 90s. Like,
Yeah, so see, like, to me, you're wasting characters.
yes,
You're wasting characters by typing out extra large.
After
I
you
would
already
say 90% of us. So, like, if you're looking for an extra large, you're going to type in XL, right? You're not going to type in spell out extra large.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that's a waste. And I know that sometimes there are people out there that will, they'll pound it into your brain that you gotta use, your title has to be like all keywords. To an extent, I understand it, right? But if your title is mushed up of words that doesn't make a coherent like title, it's not like, it's not as appealing to me as a buyer. Like if I go and I see somebody just like rare, ultra rare, extra large, red, 80s, 90s, 70s. Like I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on here, man. Like my brain can't, like, there's too much.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like I'm buying from somebody that's trying to sell me something, as opposed to me
like, look at
buying
this
something.
as an example of compact, right? Vintage Nike jacket, large, blue teal, windbreaker, full zip.
I mean,
Compact.
that's
Yeah,
not bad at all. I mean, the only thing about that title, nothing in your title differentiates you from the million other Nike jackets, windbreakers. Now, look at that. There's so much other things that he could probably put just to paste upon that jacket right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not a bad title, but I just feel like it's going to be hard to differentiate yourself from all the other Nike windbreakers.
Tongue and groove.
A lot of what I see people make a mistake too is they use characters in their titles, explanation points, parentheses, quotations. That's just wasting characters.
Take all of that out, because it doesn't
take all of that out.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that if you have titles, if you have characters in your titles, it'll stop the search at the character point.
Ooh.
So like,
so when people put flames right out the gate, they're done.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that characters and titles it'll be like a chop off in the search. Like, so like if I do like vintage jacket and then I start a parentheses, Looney Tunes in parentheses or in quotation marks, that now it separates it. It's like a whole new search. It won't read the Looney Tunes with the jacket. It'll only read it separately. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's you guys' opinion on this? So, like, you see this Nike here, right? all lowercase, everything. Not a bad description, but all lowercase. This guy, every word is uppercase.
That's how I do it. Every word
That's how I
starts with
do
an
it.
uppercase
Yes.
letter.
Yes.
But
that's
I
what
don't
do too.
capitalize the whole word, just the first letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. I'm sure this DR2 is just where he's storing it. But
Now, if I've got some word, some keyword that I want to pop, I might capitalize it, but I've always really heard that Google and eBay search both don't like capital letters. So I usually just do the first letter of the word.
Correct. Same here.
Mhm.
I've got mine set to do that as well.
And here's an easy thing too. It's like, especially with clothing, if you're looking for something to put in your search, look at the required item specifics that they're asking you about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That should kind of go in your title, you know?
Mm.
That's
Well,
always
you-
gotta look
Great
at it.
point.
You want to write your title the exact way you're going to look it up. Like
That's
Eric,
how I do it too.
like Eric
Because
was
like
talking about
I think about
size.
like this, like when you're comping something, right?
Right.
I literally will be like, okay, this is I just use this to try and comp this. Like,
Yep.
so now I know that this has to be part of my title because this is how I search to find the item.
Yeah.
No, I don't sell much clothing. I don't, but I do when I search it. Like Eric said, because he's a bigger guy, he's searching for that size. So I usually do put the size in my title on clothing because it's something you search for.
I put it further down the line, like I do, like on especially like jackets, that kind of stuff. I am going to put men's. I am going to put, size. Like that's just one of the things I do. And then description, like Cernoch has mentioned in prior episodes, Y2K, man, Y2K. Like you want that. You want 80s, 90s, 70s. Like you want something to differentiate a little bit. But like I said,
Well, like hats, mesh, snapback, rope, all those however you're looking for it, that's what you want to put in that title.
When I'm doing some of my listings, I'll also see, because I do a lot of tools, so I'll also see, okay, what else can that tool be used for? Because a lot of people will look up mechanic tools, or they'll look up electrician tools. They'll use those words, homeowner tools, tools to fix a toilet. So I'll look up other words that people don't have that tool can be used for. That's what I like to do as well.
Now, so let me ask you this: when it comes to tools, so I always, or because it reminded me just thinking about tools, because there's a lot of words, right? So like screwdriver, is screwdriver a one word or a 2-word thing in your title? Like how I do with like teacup is, some people spell teacup together, some people spell it separately. How do you spell t-shirt? Do you spell, there's so many different ways to spell t-shirt or tee or shirt, like those sort of things. How does that play a role into, or new with tags, new sealed, like what are some of those, phrases or stylistically, words that are in titles? How do all of you approach those sort of situations?
So with like, kind of like what you're saying, like, brand new or brand new at tags, I leave that to have it where it'll have it where.
All right, Leroy, do you screwdriver 1 word or 2 words?
So for me, screwdriver would be 1 word, but there are times where I'll actually split it up if I need to add characters. Sometimes some of that stuff, you look at it, you'll see like snap-on. I've seen people mess up and put snap-on as 1 word, and it's 2 words, sometimes 2 words with a line in it. So if you do it as 1 word, there's ways you can go and look. Chris will tell you, when you're buying toys, sometimes look under the people that are misspelling it, because you could get a really good deal because they're nowhere in the categories where they should be because somebody spelt it wrong. So check that stuff and see where it's going to work for you.
Another thing was like, he brought up toys, man. You got, what is it? What's that called? Acronyms. Like if I'm selling He-Man, you got to put MOTU in. So many people just search MOTU. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT.
Yep.
G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, ARAH, a Real American Hero. You look up G.I. Joe, ARAH is in just about every title. People search for that, and people know. It's kind of like NWT. Everybody knows that's new with tags, or NIB, new in box. So I put that stuff, those acronyms in as much as I can. The way I look at titles is they give you, of course, now I don't cross list. So what Cernoch was saying about the 60, that's true if you're cross listing. But the way I look at it, listing on eBay, they give you 80 characters for a reason. You want to use as many of them as you can.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's just the most you can, that's the more chance you have to get that item searched for. So, but I like what he said. Put those 60 that you're going to cross list in the first. That way you can just mark off those 20 characters and just post it, cross list it. So that's good information for cross listing for sure.
I hate to drag this on, but I do have another question on that. Do you guys ever notice that if you put it in your description, in your title, that stuff in your title, in your like, not in your title. So in your title, that's what we're talking about. But if you put it in your specifics, your item specifics, you can search stuff that's not in the title because you put it in your item specifics.
That is correct. And a lot of people will say that, oh, no, it doesn't do it. It does, because especially with sneakers, if you put that, you can put that sneaker ID in your item specifics. If you search for that, it will pull it up even though it's not in the title. Yeah. That's why I mess around with stuff where if I'm doing it may be, it may be not, but a lot of the clothing, like, it'll have a theme. It'll say a theme drop down. Man, I'll put like 10 different themes in there. I'll put vintage, retro, classic, designer, 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s. I'll put it all in there to maybe it will pull. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just do it because it's easy just to click. All right, scroll down, click, boom, done. So it does, the search does pull from your item specifics. So, why not take advantage of that? I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not doing every item specific. That's okay. But make sure, like, if there's something, especially like I do, like theme or, different ones, I'll go ahead and put it in there and, see what happens. So.
Yeah, because now you can add 30 words instead of 20 words because you added 10 extra words in your item specifics.
Yeah.
And I think too, it saves you from having to write a huge description of the item. The more you can hit those keywords on either the title or the item specifics, that's less that you really need to put in the description. I remember 20 years ago on eBay, people would write paragraphs, they'd write small novels in the description. You don't really, in my opinion, you really don't need to do that no more because you've got the title. And I don't even think 80 characters, that's relatively new. It used to be a lot less than that on eBay back a few years ago. But now with the item specifics, you don't have to write a big description. My descriptions are very, very.
Mine are the same as the title.
Mine are the same ever. I'll in the condition description, I'll just copy and paste that and put it in the item description. And it's usually one, maybe two sentences. And that's all you need. So those specifics, those titles, that's where you're going to get the search from anyway. So
there you go.
Usually that's what I do.
Write all that out. So
usually I'll do that. I'll just take my title and then I'll chop it. I'll like, all right, because say it's like vintage Columbia winter jacket or coat, whatever like that. I'll chop that, I'll highlight everything, put that there, and then all I have to do is where it says size, drop that down, copy paste brand new at tags or vintage pre-owned condition, because I'm already putting that in the description for the condition, so I can just copy that, put that in there, and then the only time I add more stuff if it's like if it's retail arbitrage shoes or like high-end jackets or something like that, where I can find the description or details on like a website that's selling it, where I can just copy and paste it and just throw it in there, boom, done. So, but I'm not writing whole novels. I'm not writing, you know, man, funny thing you say that. I have this piece of Le Creuset, like a Dutch oven thing.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at some WordPoint stuff. This lady wrote like a 2-paragraph novel about how this was handed down by her grandmother and this and that. It's just like, listen,
Nobody cares.
I get it, but like you said, nobody
cares. Well, they're not searching by that. You know, they're not searching item handed down from their great grandma 100 years ago. Nobody cares.
I mean, it's a nice story, but it's like,
right. You know, write a note, send it to the buyer after you sell it, but nobody cares for the description.
Hey guys, so we're gonna go ahead and move into what's trending today, and we're gonna check with everybody on that. Hey, so we'll go top to bottom. Let's start with Tim. What's trending in your world, Tim?
What is trending in my world right now? Well, I mean, it's all over the map right now. It's tough because we're in Q4. I mean, we've talked, previous episodes about some of the things, obviously, the Christmas stuff. Cernoch talked about ugly Christmas sweaters. I'd imagine that's a good one to reiterate again, because I know, let's be honest, I am a procrastinator, as mentioned earlier in the show. I wait until the last minute to do everything. So I'm sure, like, right now, you're probably going to get a surge of people who are like, oh, snap, I got that ugly Christmas sweater party coming up. Like, I got to get one of those. So if you guys haven't seen that episode, hopefully Eric can put, like, a little card up here at the top where you guys can click and watch that. And Cernoch can tell you guys about ugly Christmas sweaters. The sports stuff has been very popular for me. I've been selling the soccer jerseys like crazy as of late. We're going to getting kind of to the end of the World Cup right now. We also talked about the college football playoffs and those sort of situations. I've been doing well with hats lately. That's because I listed a lot of hats. I think that's something that you kind of have to think about too. I don't know how much this is kind of like we'll blend these first two topics together. But I've heard a lot of times where, so if you have older listings of items, like, so say I have a bunch of older hats that I've listed like, a couple months ago, and then I go and I list 20 hats, it boosts the findings of my older hat listings as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of, something, it might not be a very specific item that's trending right now, but I think it's a good way to blend what's trending and, the 101 that we just did. If you have a lot of an item that you've already listed and now you're getting, right now, I think everybody's power listing. We're all trying to list as much as possible because it's the end of Q4. And we're going to get into this time of year that Leroy is a thing that Leroy has talked about previously about how, don't forget about all the people that are going to be doing the shopping after Christmas once getting those gift cards. So don't just stop power listing before, when Christmas ends, because you're going to have all these people that are going to be shopping with gift cards, whether they're Visa gift cards, eBay gift cards, Etsy gift cards, anything. You want to continue this power listing through on into January. Obviously every day, no matter what time of the year, you want to list as much as possible. But to be realistic, we are power listing right now. So I think that's something to kind of key in too. If you have a lot of one item and then that's already been listed, list some of those similar items because it's going to bump up the search volume in those older listings. So hopefully that kind of like blended the first two topics for everybody who's watching this right now.
Leroy.
What's trending for me, guys, is searching for internet. So I can drive around, go in the van, find a good spot to get the internet for you guys. That is what's trending in Blood, Sweat, and Cell world right now. And then if you guys got presents for your family and stuff, hit a brother up. Go to Blood, Sweat, and Cell. Get some wrapping paper. I'm still shipping it, baby. Go to my site. Get some of my wrapping paper. Help a brother out so I can buy something for Eric. I gotta try to get him a Slurpee or something. Or I owe him some more boiled peanuts. Something.
Boiled peanuts. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna take too long on this, guys. You guys know there's a lot of things right now that are trending. This month right here is probably the most trended on everything because of the buying power that this month carries.
That's it.
Trending. I sell a lot of toys. So with toys, what's trending is always just a few years ago, Masters of the Universe come out with that new line. Well, that new line of toys, it drove the prices of the vintage toys crazy sky high. It's crazy sky high. That market started to die down, but I just noticed at Walmart just a few weeks ago, they come back out with the DC Superpowers, Super Friend toys, just like the original ones we all had as kids. I guarantee, I don't have any right now, but I guarantee those old vintage toys right now are skyrocketing. I sold a Viewmaster Puss in Boots vintage reel the other day. Old. I mean, I think it was from like 1969, I believe. And I was like, why did that all of a sudden sell? Because I've had it forever. I got it on the 411 sale, Eric. If you remember, I got that huge box of Viewmaster reels. I sold a ton of them. And for whatever reason, I still had that Puss in Boots left. And it sold the other day. And I was like, why did it sell? I went in the house and was watching TV. Guess what movies?
New movie.
They're redoing that movie. And I was like, that's why it sold. So every time Jurassic Park is a perfect example. Those toys, that market will slow. They'll come out with a new movie. Those toys will skyrocket. So movies, new cartoons, it will drive the old ones up. A few years ago, they redone the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those original toys went, and they're always good. But anytime they come out with a new line, it will drive the prices of the old stuff up. So always pay attention to what's trending on the movies and the new cartoons, because I guarantee right now those old DC Superpower figures are skyrocketing because of the new ones that they got out. So I love toys, so always look for vintage toys. Always look for vintage toys. But those that they remake or make new movies about, every time Marvel comes out with a new movie, guess what? Those old toys, they go up in price. Not only do they go up in price, but they sell better. The sell-through rate increases because more people are looking for them. Our age group is at that age where everybody wants their old toys back. So any 80s toys, I mean, I don't think that's a shocker that 80s toys are on fire right now. But now it's starting to get into the early 90s toys and even the 2000 toys, because people born in 2000, my oldest son, CJ, was born in 2000. Guess what? His toys are 22 years old now. So,
they're vintage.
They're vintage. They're vintage. Who would have thought 2000 was vintage? Just like Cernoch talks about Y2K. That's why. That age group is at that age where, I'd like to have my old toys back. So they start collecting, and toys is a perfect example of once it gets 20 years old, the market starts going up for them. So always, but watch movies and watch the new cartoons. And if it's something you used to watch as a kid, more than likely the old toys are getting ready to get hot if they've not already. So
we're running recirculating always.
Now, listen, Leroy, I think Leroy's leeching my internet over here, man, because mine keeps on popping in and off. But this is what's trending for me. Kind of like what Leroy said, too. Kind of like it's Q4. Everything's kind of selling right now. So whatever, like what I'm in is, hats, jackets, shoes, boots. That's what's selling for me. And a lot of toys, too. I have a lot of toys that I just listed. Boom, they're selling. So right now it's like really like, I think, what Tim said, power listing, just getting your stuff up there in front of things, in front of people, because your stuff is going to sell. It's and a lot of stuff too, new stuff, like especially during the Christmas holiday, newer stuff. I see my vintage stuff take a little dive, not bad, but just a little bit, where my new stuff kind of like sells a lot more, because I think for Christmas, yes, someone can get a vintage crew neck sweatshirt for someone, and that's awesome. But I find like during the holidays, that a lot of my newer shoes sell. My newer jackets, like those sell, brand new with tag stuff, so people can get a brand new item for Christmas. So that's how it's been kind of trending for me as well.
I tell you something that's been selling for me lately is honestly because I have a bunch of these. Is these little guys. These super clip NFL, dude. Like I sell these.
We put one on our Christmas tree. One of the ones that you gave us is on our Christmas tree.
Every day these sell for me. And obviously NFL, we're getting close to the end of the season, like playoff hunt, that kind of stuff. I mean, I've still got a ton of these. If you're interested, hey, links below. But I know sports stuff. I think it's interesting, Leroy mentioned it to a degree, and we talked about like, hey, after the holidays, everybody's selling right now. And it was mentioned in last episode how we talked about if you're selling on Poshmark, Mercari, some of these platforms that hold your funds, like people are selling like crazy right now, right? Yep. So their funds are building up in those platforms so they can turn around and buy. Because it's sometimes faster to just buy from your fund than get that money transferred to you.
Yeah.
I had somebody the other day that made a comment, and they said that they were using their Mercari funds to buy Christmas for their kids. Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about as well. Like, I mean, that's a benefit of some of the rest of the funds, funneling back out into the marketplace. But yeah, hey, get your super clips.
Are those vintage
super close when they last?
Are they?
He actually bought those on the 127 sale last year.
Did.
That was one of the buys I was most jealous about because I don't know how many. He had a huge tub of them, and I mean that's multi-quantity listing. You list it once, set your quantity, and because 2 years ago on the 411 sale, I bought all those Coca-Cola hat pins. Yeah. I'm still selling those. Still selling them. $5 a pop, but I sell some every day.
I will tell you too, if you search my store for Coca-Cola, I will practically give you those Coca-Cola ornaments. I've got a whole box of them. So like, hey, just go down below and I will make you a heck of a deal, like 50% off. Feel free to jump in on that. But yeah, this actually, like I said, did come from 127. Oddly enough, from something that we participated in, myself, Tim, when we got all these hats that Old School Picker procured for us, because we were actually running a race to see who could get to that place first, and he beat Tim by a nose on that deal and got over there and was able to buy the 800 plus hats. That we ran whatnot and did all that kind of crazy stuff on. But this is something
I did share with you.
And I made it in time for that. So,
just to be clear, I did share it with these guys. I didn't I just buy them out from under them. I did share them with those guys because it's been pointed out a few times that I got them all to myself and I didn't. I shared them with those guys. I just wanted to buy them before somebody else got to them.
Yeah, it was one of those things. We'd all seen the post on Garage Sale Nation. We had all seen the post, and the guy actually reached out to Chris. And that is one of the things I will say about this group of guys. Chris included in that is, man, we are not all like. I know there's other people in the world who are out for number one, and that's not the case here. We all try to encourage each other and to help one another and to, not saying when we go picking that we're all just standing around, hey, do you want this or do you want that? But it happens like numerous times that people in this group that we pick with each other and be like, hey, do you want this, bro? Like, here's something I found. It's one of those things. So I do appreciate that. And Chris hooked us up big time with that and got out there ahead of us. So it was great of that to happen. So guys, today we're going to jump into the deep dive. So deep dive today, we're actually going to put Chris in the hot seat and just talk a little bit about, his business. Obviously, Chris, how long have you been selling on eBay now?
Well, I started selling on eBay back in 2002. So many moons ago, but now I've not sold every year since then. I sold, I think that like a 3-year period, then I quit. And then about 6 or 7 years later, I started again, sold for 5-6 years. quit again, went back to work for several reasons. And then this time around, I have been selling, I think, for 4 or 5 years. So probably out of those 20 years, I've probably sold 10, 12 years, somewhere in that range. So yeah, it's been a while for sure, but I've enjoyed it more this time than I probably ever have.
What really got you? Like, I know this time around, because we've talked personally, but I know, obviously YouTube community plays a role in some of that as well. And you guys, if you are not following Obxpicker, maybe you're under a rock or something. You just need to get out from under that rock, go on, hit subscribe, follow this guy. He sells some pretty crazy stuff. But, did YouTube play a role in having you more involved in selling this time around, or what?
Oh, absolutely. I've been watching YouTube for a long time, and I was watching a lot of I wasn't selling on eBay at the time. I had sold, like I said, in the past, and for whatever reason, Rally Roots come up on my YouTube channel. I've been watching a lot of outdoor channels and, bushcraft type channels and stuff like that, fishing channels. For whatever reason, I don't know if I said the word eBay or reselling or what, I started getting Rally Roots suggestions. So I clicked on their channel and I watched, I think it was like a yard sale video or something. I was like, oh, wow, people are making, now this was the early days of reselling on YouTube before, a lot of people was doing it. Rally Roots was still a very, very small channel compared to where they are now. And they were going around yard selling, buying vintage hats and clothes. And I was like, oh my God, So I just went down that rabbit hole of YouTube. And that's what sparked the interest to me to get back into reselling, because the times before I had done reselling, I was doing it very, I don't even know if part-time level would be the word, more hobby level, just selling a little bit of stuff here and there. But man, when I seen people actually started making money from it or a living from it, man, that sparked an interest and got me back into it. And a lot of life situations got me back into it. For those that don't know, my wife has multiple sclerosis and my youngest son has autism. So it's very, very hard for me to be away from home for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to work. So financially, we was able for me to quit and come home and help take care of them. I've got a lot of responsibilities on that front, but for those that don't know, I'm in my shed behind my house right now. I'm literally 30 feet from my back door of my house. So I can be, it's great. She can call me, yell at me, whatever, and I can be in there to help whatever I need to do. And, but yes, YouTube played a huge part. And it still plays a part. It keeps me motivated because I know I'm putting videos out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Guess what? If I'm a reselling channel, I better be selling stuff Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because you're going to tell on yourself real quick if you don't. So yeah, YouTube played a huge part, but it keeps me motivated as well. So, because you don't want to go on YouTube and look, because I'm one of those, whatever I've done, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
And, so, I don't try to sugarcoat it. If I sell something for $5 on eBay, and I sell it. I think that's one thing I do different that drives a lot of people crazy. I sell a lot of cheap stuff, but I have a slogan for that. Sell what you find. Sell what you find.
So what you find. Leroy's got a slogan for that too. I think it's sell it low and let it go. Is that how it is, Leroy?
Well, I always say, if I could find, like, I'm so jealous of some of the stuff Cernoch. I know everybody's jealous of some of the stuff Cernoch finds, right? We don't all have that mission in our backyard, right? Those vintage T-shirts, the Venom shirts, the Spider-Man shirts, the Hobgoblin, man. If I could find that stuff, I'd be selling it too. But guess what? I don't find it. So I sell what I find.
Let me tell you, I don't think anybody really gets to see the level like we do. Like Cernoch, as soon as I see those dots start to type next to Cernoch's name in the group chat, I'm like, oh, here we go. And he's like, it's just like the picture, and then my phone, my notifications going ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh, here comes a mission haul.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I've been out and picked, and I can tell you the first year that I went to 127 and met Chris, and we picked in his town. We did a little bit of that last year. We went down to Pikeville. I know Tim was there, and he's saying, like, dude, it's not big. I mean, for me, we talk about like you got to drive to get somewhere, like to go picking. I mean, obviously things have improved a little bit as far as what you had going on, but I mean, it's honestly like the first time I went to visit Commonwealth Picker, and he's like, "Look, man, the reason I sell cheap things because that's all you'll find here." It's like, and it's true. So
after watching all those YouTube channels, I realized, what Rally Roots and all those channels was finding. I was like, I'm not going to find that stuff. You can do two things. You can let it destroy you and keep you from doing it, or you can adapt. And so I adapt. I go out. I'm in a better location now by far, not in day difference, but when I lived in the little town Eric was talking about, yeah, you had to be real creative, real creative about what you resold. I live in a much bigger town now that it's still not great. It's still not the mission, right? But I do have better opportunities for sure. I'm a huge toy lover. I've talked about that. So I would say right now about 60-70% of my sales are toy related, video game related. I'm lucky enough now to find enough stuff that I love to sell, that I make what I need to make. Don't ever compare yourself to other YouTubers, because every situation's different. If you know 1,000 resellers, guess what? Each one of those is doing something different so you got to adapt to what you do, what works for you, what you find, sell what you find. Also sell what you're passionate about. If you're not passionate about, because the time before this, one reason I went back to work is I got burnt out. Now I did have some financial reasons that forced me back to work, insurance related, for the most part. But if you don't sell some of what you love and what you're passionate about, it can burn you out quick. So, yeah.
That's why you're so passionate about Stampin' Up.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you right now, I ain't passing that stuff up if I see it at a yard sale. Good stuff.
That's for sure. And do you guys have questions for Chris?
Let me think about a quick question. I'll tell you. Well, go ahead, Cernoch. You got one because I got a story.
I think Chris made a really important thing. It's selling, like selling what you like. That's the most. I think that's the key with a lot of people that's not successful in reselling, is because they're trying to emulate what they see other people do, and they don't have a passion. You know me, I find glass all the time. Do I pick it up? Yes. Do I sell it? No. I give it to Tim because I know he gets excited about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like, like you brought up the mission. I can do the mission, and I could make money just off the kitchen stuff if I wanted to. I could just be in the kitchen area just buying that, but that doesn't excite me. The Swedish 1961 military overalls that I got yesterday was the high point of my day. Because I was like, that's sweet. That's cool. That's something I've never seen before, and I got to research it and do all this stuff. That's what gets me excited versus something else. Oh, look at this Mr. Coffee maker. I was like, okay, who cares? Yeah, I could sell it for $25, but that doesn't excite me. And I think that's what kind of Chris said. What 60% of your stuff is toys. You love selling toys. Well, that's great. That's what it should be.
It makes it a lot easier to get through the actual work of reselling. You know what I'm saying? Like when you that level of excitement. And another thing that you mentioned that I think it's something that we preach about. A couple of things that we preach about here on Reseller Information Network is the adapting. Like if you watch this show, you've heard me say it a million times about reselling is about adjusting and adapting. And I think that it's so true, and it's always it feels good to see and hear other resellers understanding how important that is. And then, the emulating part too, and that you and Cernoch were just, reiterating. It's like, I think that some people get it mixed up. Like when people are making videos and they're showing what they've sold or they're showing what they're picking, it's not, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I mean, the good resellers that you watch on YouTube, like, Chris and some of our other favorites, they're showing it to you so that if you see it when you're out, wherever you're outsourcing, that's just, it's a bonus for you. They're not saying go out and find this and do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Because like Chris said, it's like you're gonna go broke real fast because you're gonna be looking for something that you can't find. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to. That's so important for new sellers to realize and to understand that when we're telling you these things, we're not telling you these things to do that and do only that. We're just trying to add bullets to the clip for you. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to give you a little bit more ammo so that when you are out and you can't find anything, this thing might have been sitting in front of your face. And before, Leroy told you about tools, or before Cernoch told you about hats and so forth, you might not have known that. So it's super important to remember that these aren't things that you have to be finding or that you need to be finding. These are things that if you do find it, now you know. And that's what's super important,
I'll give you a perfect example, and it involves you. And it involves Cernoch, and Tim done knows the story I'm going to tell.
That's what I was going to ask you about, that story before we led into looking at your store, because I was going to ask if you had any hats in your store. But yes, this story right here is super crazy.
The first time, I think I knew Tim before on YouTube, but the first time I ever met Cernoch was the very first time you guys went live together. Tim had just scored a bunch of vintage hats. I think he was pretty new to the hat game as well, wasn't he?
Hazmat and stuff.
Yes. And I seen the passion that Cernoch had and Tim had over these. Every time Tim would show a hat, Cernoch would just explode on the screen with excitement. After that video, I mean, I don't know how many hats you had, like 200 or something. It was a huge hat haul. After that video, I didn't know anything about vintage hats. This was probably 4 years ago. A guy called me, a friend of mine called me. He had a private pick. He had a bunch of Marvel graphic novels, and if you know anything about graphic novels, they can be all over the place, $5 to $50. He had some pretty good ones. So I went over there to see what he had. As soon as I pulled up, he's got a Pepsi 3-stripe hat on. He's wearing a Pepsi 3-stripe hat on. And I pulled up and I was like, he said, "Hey, what do you think about these graphic novels?" I was like, "Forget the graphic novels. What do you want for that hat that's on your head?" he said, "Man, I just picked this up at the local Goodwill for $1 a piece." He said, "I got this one." He goes into his apartment, brings out another one. Both of them, Pepsi 3-stripe vintage hats. He paid $1 a piece for them. I was like, "Oh my God." And I said, "What do you?" I ended up buying the graphic novels too. It was pretty good. There was 2 or 3 like $30 ones in it. But I think I paid him $10 for that vintage hat because I'd seen Tim talk about 3-stripers, seen Cernoch talk about 3-stripers just a week before that. I was like, that's one of those 3-striped hats. I bought that hat for $10. I think I ended up selling it this 4 years ago. They're probably more now, but I think I sold it for like $80 plus shipping. So, and I've been hooked on hats ever since. And Eric's a big part of that too. He got me into the hat game too. So yeah, but watching YouTube guys, just like Tim said, you might see it and then you might not, but if you do, you at least got that knowledge. So the tougher the picking is in your area, the more knowledge you better have, because you got to have a broader knowledge of anything that you can make a buck on. The tougher the picking is, because when I go into a thrift store or yard sale or whatever, first place I'm headed, toy section, video game section, electronics. But now I'm going to the golf clubs. I'm going to the hats. Eric's got me into looking for single stitch t-shirts finally. So, kitchen items, copper clad. Eric, he knows Kevin Commonwealth Picker picked a tub of beerware right from under our nose.
Oh my God.
I'm reaching right there in front of us.
Kevin's $20 hat.
Yeah.
Like in Kevin's video, I literally reached through and get the $20 hat. He
So
pulled
you
out
got,
$400 worth of copper pots. I was like,
I always say Kevin's the best picker I've ever been with, and that's why, because he's in a situation like I am. His picking is tough, so you got to have a broader knowledge. The tougher it is, if you're in a home run area where you can find enough vintage T-shirts or toys or whatever, that's fine. That's all you have to pick. If you're in a tough situation, you better broaden that knowledge, and you do that by talking to people and watching YouTube videos and listening and just gaining a little knowledge. You can't do it exactly like they do. Maybe you find a few things that you've seen on a video or whatever, or search eBay sales. Just start stuff
Chris,
up.
I do have a question for you too. My question is, you said all that stuff, shirts, hats, gloves, glasses, never said anything about tools. And I'm here. I'm right here. You see
Yeah, I know. Tools, I'm still learning. Of course, I know the big brands, Snap-on, and I have sold some Snap-on stuff. But now keep in mind where I live, it's kind of like the vintage T-shirts, man. I live in the South. We wear our stuff out. Well, guess what? All these mechanics, I live in an area that's got a ton of shade tree mechanics still. Those guys don't get rid of their stuff, and when they do, they know what they got. So, you will find it some, but, and I do need to get better at looking for it, because that's one thing I've learned too. If you're not looking for it, you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is.
And I think that's very important. Kind of like what you said, have a broad, like, I do this. I have a broad knowledge of a lot of things. Right. So when it's going to die. I knew it.
No, you're good. Well, you were good.
No.
Hey, one of the things I was going to tell you, Chris, that I know some things that that I don't know anything about, and that is knives. I've seen you pick them up, picking with you, and like you automatically like, I see you go for them. I'm always like looking like, I don't know. I mean, I know some brands, but then there's such a broad spectrum of things. So that is something I've seen you pick up that I know you do well with.
Yeah, I'm always looking for, I know I bought one with you on the 411 sale, diver knives. Diver knives can be huge money. I love fixed blade knives. I don't fool with pocket knives a whole lot because, like you said, it is such a broad spectrum, and I don't know everything. Obviously, the name brands, Case, but those type knives. But fixed blade knives, if they're a good brand, they're always worth $40, $50. And a lot of times you'll find them, people getting rid of them $5, $10 at yard sales. I'm a yard sale junkie. I get 90% of my stuff probably from yard sales. Thrift stores are okay. Estate sales, I'm a yard sale junkie, so because I'm cheap. I don't like paying up for nothing.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, the way I look at it, if you get it cheap enough, you can make money on it no matter how much you sell it for.
Yeah.
So, if you're getting it for 50 cents, guess what? You probably make 50 cents on the shipping. So, your cost of goods is covered just through the shipping. So, get it cheap enough, price it low, let it go. Right, Leroy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. While I still have my internet, I was gonna make my point because it just cut off. I got super excited and then it cut off. So yes, you want a broad range, and that helps you find stuff. But I think if in your knowledge, if you really dig and you really learn all that stuff, like I do with like clothing and shoes, and especially like boots for right now, I can pass up all the junk real quick.
Right.
Trash, junk. There it is, right there. I'm taking that. So it kind of helps you, be really specific in knowing what's good versus bad and a lot of stuff. But then having that broad range going, okay, I know this thing is good out of this category, and I know this. So if you see it, you pick it up. But I think, a lot of us maybe miss those little items that we don't really have that. But when we make that up is in our lane, we know, what to pick up. So there might be a $500 pair of boots sitting there that people are like, well, I don't know what that is, but I do. So I'm picking that up, versus like someone might be in the pots and pans going, yeah, look at me. I picked up this. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I know that. So it's all about just building your database and knowledge base.
Well, too, I think too, I think a lot of times we get cocky and arrogant and think we know everything about everything. And I don't want to be that. I want to constantly be learning. You know, all that few videos back when you dropped all that knowledge about the boots, I was sucking that in. I was like, you know what? Boots is something I've never really fooled with. But guess what? Now I'm looking for them because in the South, everybody's got boots. You know?
Everybody, yeah.
I mean, everybody wears them. You know, we may wear them out, but if you get the right brand and the right boot, right shoe, you know what? It'll still sell. You know, buy it cheap, sell it a little cheaper. You don't have to get top dollar for it.
And they ain't got to be perfect.
They ain't got to be perfect.
Two pairs of Red Wing steel toe boots, trashed. The sole was still good, but the front was all messed up. One sold on Poshmark $80, another one sold on eBay for $100.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, you know.
Well, I mean, think about it. You know, when you get a pair of shoes broke in, nobody likes breaking in a good pair of shoes. So if they're already broke in, there's people actually out there looking for shoes that's already broke in.
Yep.
I was telling Eric, and he knows, I sell broken action figures all the time, parts and pieces of action figures. I sold some G1 Optimus Prime fists, just the fists, you know, little black fists, tiny fists. I sold them for like $70 because good luck, you know, if you're wanting to find those and you need those to finish out your Optimus Prime, where else are you going to find them? You're not just going to the yard sale hoping you find them. You know, you're going to eBay, you're going to Macari, wherever to look for that stuff. And yeah, you can go on there and buy a brand new one, but they don't want a brand new one. They want their original one complete. So I sell broken action figures. It amazes me how much I sell broken action figures for sometimes, or parts and pieces, weapons and accessories. Oh my God, they're worth more than the figures because what got lost? The figure didn't get lost.
Nope.
That little tiny gun. Guess what? It's been gone for 40 years, and somebody out there is looking for it. So,
unless somebody just sends you stuff, right?
Yes. Leroy actually sent me some broken action figures, and guess what? I'll do something with them. I promise you.
Nice.
That's it. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and jump into to our reseller hacks. So let's check that. Chris is already on screen, so we're gonna let him jump off.
That is a must-have right there. The box resizing tool. You save so much money on that by resizing your boxes down. You save on packing materials. It helps pack the item in better to where it less chance. I don't sell a lot of breakables, and I don't like having 1,000 different size boxes on hand. So I buy universal boxes and trim them down. It's got a resizer on one end and a knife on the other. It's $8 on eBay, Amazon. It can save a lot of money and time. And time is money. So I know everybody probably on here knows about them. But, you know, for a lot of people that are new to reselling, we take for granted everybody knows about that. Guess what? Everybody don't know about that. So spend the $8, buy a box resizing tool. It will save you time and money.
We'll put a link down below.
Yeah. Put my logo on the side of it.
Oh boy.
There you go. Tim, what you got?
All right, reselling hack. This is a very basic one, but it is one that I have been using a lot more frequently over the past couple of weeks. Is you know, if you live in an area that has a unique thrift store, a Savers thrift store, or a Value Village thrift store, don't forget that you guys can bring in to donate to those thrift stores. It can be anything, okay? So small bag or big bag, all right? But key is only bring one bag, all right? Because if you have, say you have 3 bags of stuff that you need to donate, okay? Bring in one bag at a time, and you get a 20% off coupon when you donate it. So that's instantly 20% off at any of those thrift stores. Also, it's if you have those thrift stores, make sure you have your phone number set up on an account there, because once you accumulate 100 points, which you get a point for every dollar that you spend. You get an additional 20%. It's either 20 or 25% off coupon that's automatically added whenever you want to use it when you put your phone number in. So that's just a couple of quick little hacks to kind of save you guys a little bit of money when you're outsourcing at those 3 specific thrift stores.
Awesome. You're right.
Reseller hack. When you guys go to places, you'll see everybody, they'll run to the video games, or they'll run to, like me, like if I go to a sale, they'll run to the Snap-on stuff. Don't always try to run where everybody else is run. You're not getting your hand in there. Go somewhere else and learn about something else. I knew about this, but I got these little pliers this weekend. I went to an auction and everybody was bidding on everything else. I had the guy put them on the table. This is the company and the name. These little pliers are $35 to $60 a piece.
Oh,
I got 7 of them.
Jeez.
nice.
So don't always run to where everybody else is running. They're trying to get the video games and stuff. Try to step down a little bit and be like, okay, listen, I heard Tim talk about glass a little bit. Nobody's looking at the glass. Or I heard Eric talk about VCRs. Nobody's looking at the VCRs. Am I telling you to sell that stuff? No, but just step back a little bit. You might get something that's worth 10 times more than everybody else is fighting for because you just took a step back.
Step back. Let's get.
This is gonna be something for like early resell people that are early reselling journey. Okay, and in their early reselling journey, my friend just did it because I got him back into reselling. And we discussed it on Tuesday. Thermal printers. Thermal printers. You don't. Now here's the thing. You don't have to go get the big name brand Brothers, Zebra, or Rolo, or Dino, or the Dymo. You know, Amazon has a great selection of these cheaper that you can get from anywhere from like $60 to $100, and they work great. If that's going to be, if you want to invest in your reselling journey, get a thermal printer because it will save you so much time and effort. Like my buddy already texted me. He goes, "Man, I'm so glad you told me about this. It saves so much time. It just it prints. You rip, you peel it, you stick it. That's it. So that's all you have to do. But again, you don't have to go get like the $250 Rolo printer or the $300. A lot of those different brands. I know, especially with Dymo, have their own certain paper you can only use that have the holes in it. Go on Amazon, type in thermal printer, and take a look at take a look at the reviews, because even though they're like the cheap off-brand ones, I've had one for probably a year and a half now, and I've printed probably 10,000 labels on that thing, and it keeps going strong. So definitely invest in it, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. But the money you do spend is going to be definitely worth it.
Hey, I'm going to piggyback on Cernoch a little bit. UPS business account. You can get free labels for your cheap printer. Free labels. If you're shipping UPS at all, take advantage of that. They send them out in massive quantity, twice as much as what you would get elsewhere. The only difference is it says UPS on the back, and it does not work on Dymo, just so you know. But UPS.com, go on, sign up for a business account. They have material that you can go and get for free, even boxes. I shipped a golf club today in a free box from UPS. So that's a little reseller hack. Jump on in on that.
Yeah.
Hey, we do have a couple questions, and we did want to take a quick look at his store. Old School Pickers store, and I see all them lovely hats he has for sale. Guys, his store link will be down in the bottom, so we're gonna jump into that real quick, and then we'll look at the couple questions we have for today. So let's see. Old School Pickers treasure trove
chest.
There we go. Let's see.
Oh, I already see a Dale.
Yep.
I was telling Tim today. I was like, man, somebody else has a little deal action.
I've actually got several more that's I've got them saved as drafts. So I've not got them listed.
How about this?
I like that Caesar's corduroy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
corduroy is super hot right now.
Yeah,
You got the vintage pins as well.
yeah, that's the hat pins I was telling you about. I
Look at
sell one or two of those every day.
Hey, Great American Hero.
Yeah,
Do you have all team? Oh, look at there you go, Cernoch.
yeah, Looney Tunes.
Oilers one.
Wait, where's the Oilers?
Oilers. pin
Oh, he's
right
got
here.
the Oilers. Yeah, Coca-Cola Oilers pin. Nice.
Do you have all the teams?
Not all of them, man. I wish I did, because if I did, I would have made a listing
like
of
one listing
all
like
of them.
that?
Yeah,
Do you have any Washington?
I do not.
New York Giants?
I do not. I've probably got 20 of the teams. How many are they? 32. I've probably got about 18 to 20 different teams. But the thing was, I had like 26 pins of each one. So I have sold hundreds of dollars of those.
Jeez.
Last year, somebody came in and bought every one of the Rams I had. I
That
shipped them all to them.
Looney Tunes t-shirt is sick.
Yeah.
That's a good price on that, dude.
What size is it?
It's
Large.
yeah. Some of them I've got are new attacks.
Well, let me see is that vintage?
Yeah, single stitch.
Oh, that needs to be. Oh man, hey, if you're watching this and you want a vintage Looney Tunes shirt all over print, that is a killer deal. $35.
That is a killer.
Wow.
Deal. I know what Cernoch was going to say. Why you got that so cheap, bro? How is that still there? That's what he wants to say.
Yeah, how is that still there, man?
I don't know.
It's still there.
I had it listed higher, and I've just been reducing it till it sells.
Jeez. Yeah,
that's a nice
good.
49ers hat too.
Yeah, that's what brand is that? New Era, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Got the Seminoles up in there. There's a little Batman Forever. I have one of these Teamster hats. Mine's a little different than that one.
Check out that go up that Avery Express hat there. I love that hat. I can't believe it's not sold either.
I can't believe
Now here's the thing, Chris. Do you find that because I see a lot of action figures, a lot of hats. And I think sometimes we don't let people know. Like, listen, you just gotta list it and leave it sometimes.
Yep.
Because you never know who's gonna come around and want that or need that one action figure.
Yep.
You might have had it for 6 months, 9 months, but you never know when they go, man, I need this to complete my set. And this is the first time they've gone on to eBay to look for it, and boom, you have it right there.
Yep.
So
well,
that's why I would tell people, none of my stuff is selling. It takes time,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. eBay's a numbers game for me. Everybody don't do it that way, but when you list a lot of cheaper stuff and sell a lot of cheaper stuff, it has to be a numbers game. So the more listings you can get up, the more sales you can get. Those $10 sales start adding up. And now that right there is something I've sold a ton of in the last 2 months. Hallmark Christmas ornaments. I bet I've shipped out 50 in the last 2 months. $5-10 at a time, but hey, when you pay 50 cents for them, it adds up.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, Flippin' Sports Guy, if you're watching this is to Paul. Best wishes, Vinny Johnson.
Yeah. That actually came from the same place those Looney Tunes shirts came from.
Dude, those shirts are killer, man. Like,
signed by the microwave.
There's another one.
Yep. I've still got some that I don't have listed.
Jeez. That's killer. Desert Storm hat. That's pretty sick.
Yep. I've had that hat for a while.
Hey, what's this golf club action?
Listen, I'll tell you, if you're into vintage, you want to go check his store out, because I see prices that are very affordable. Okay. Very affordable if you're looking to get into vintage.
Check out that that Bulls. I bought that on the 127 sale this last year.
A little vintage 90s.
Wow.
I can't believe that's not sold for $30. Come on.
There you go, guys. Christmas is coming. So check out OSP store. Tell them RIN sent you.
Right?
Come on over.
Yeah. Leroy's
I might
out.
have to do a little shopping.
All right. I said, hey, there's a couple extra large Looney Tune action up in there. So, yeah, I'm sure Chris don't mind. Hey, we just do have a couple questions for today, and then we're going to call it a show. We're going to roll through these kind of quick, but let's go ahead with the first one. We covered this a little bit last time, but Chris had actually brought us this question on the way in today and talking about, is it better to cross list an item or list something else out of your death pile? I'm going to go with both, and then I'll pass it to somebody else.
I mean, I'm going to be right there with you. I mean, you can just keep it on all four of us at this point. I mean, just do both. I mean, listen, just do both. There's no, you know what? I'm going to go with another option. Option C, cross list the item from your death pile and cross list that. Okay, there we go. That's the answer right there.
I know what you're getting out of time.
So. I'll say this with some of the cross listing tools now available. Cross listing doesn't take as long as it used to. So think about like 2-3 years ago. Cross listing was like, hey, you had to have
manual.
So you had your pictures. So you did all eBay. Then you would have to load it up into Poshmark and load it up into Mercari and load it up to Grail and start all over. Now with these cross listing tools, it's a lot faster. I can bang out 10 Poshmark cross listings in probably 2 minutes. So but that would have taken me another 20-30 minutes 2 years ago. But I think I need a list for my death pile, because my death pile is up to my eyeballs. Y'all saw, you know this. So
that's only if you're standing on a crate. Is it up to your eyeballs?
Yeah. It's fun to buy, but you got to list it. Eventually. So I think what I like to do, and I think I've said this before, is I will take all my eBay stuff and go through my progression of photographing and listing and I'll sit down and I'll list it all. Okay. And then sometimes I'll let it marinate on eBay for a little bit. Just marinate on eBay, because I don't want something, because if I list it and cross list it right away and it's a high item that I don't know about, boom, in case it sells, at the same time, which is kind of rare, but I'm just saying I let it marinate on eBay a little bit because it's already there and I've already got it loaded on my cross listing platform. So it's like, all right, if I'm not taking pictures or not doing eBay listings and I wake up in the morning, sometimes just to get my brain going a little bit, just to kind of, I'll open up, and I'll say, you know what, let's cross list these 10 items, to 3 platforms. And that kind of gets my day started to where like I'm waking up, just like you may not be ready to just jump in to take pictures, or jump in to do eBay listing drafts. Yeah. So that a lot of the work's already done. So it's just like, all right, boom, 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 boom. So, that's what I think about it. But I mean, definitely list from your death pile,
I will say this, like on top of all that, if you are brand new and you've just started listing, that may be like step 2, like you need to get comfortable with listing on a platform. You need to get comfortable with, okay, yes, I do need to do this. I just recently got into cross listing, and I promise it's coming. I'm thinking maybe next week we'll do a comparison of the big 3 cross listers that we use. But so yesterday I sat down and listed a truckload of clothing. Today, when I came into RIN, I cross listed all that clothing today. And so I know pro and con. Pro and con is time, right? Okay, I've only got 24 hours in a day. I've got to devote time to getting up listings. So like these guys have said, it doesn't take that much more time to cross list. If you're starting from scratch, it takes a while, right? Like depending on how slow a lister you are. Like for me, if I set my mind to it, I can list pretty quick. But that cross listing is like maybe for me an extra 20 seconds per item, like to load it in, put it up. I'm only doing Poshmark. I'm not doing Tim and Cernoch level where they're like I'm on level 1. I'm still dying at I'm getting to Koopa Troopa and I'm done. Like I'm hitting the wall. And so these guys are going way more in depth. So my suggestion, if you're brand new, you're just starting out, get comfortable with the platform, use your time wisely with that. If you've got a mountain of death pile, 2 things. 1, yes, you need to list it. 2, you might need to go purge that thing a little bit. Because if you're new, I guarantee you bought some trash. Like I buy still, and I've been doing this for a minute. Like there's some things that I've run across that I'm like, you don't need to list that. You need to donate that. You need to get that out of here. You need
get that 20% coupon.
Yeah.
Well, when you buy in bulk too, a lot of your death pile will come from buying in bulk.
Exactly.
And I know Eric buys in bulk. I've picked with him enough. I buy in bulk. I know these other guys buy in bulk.
Yeah.
Guess what you're going to pull out of that death pile first? You're going to pull the good stuff, the easy listers, the higher dollar items, and guess what's left? The death pile. So, that's where a lot of times the death pile comes from.
Yeah.
Death pile don't always come from bad buys. Yes, it does come from that, but a lot of times it comes from just buying in bulk as well.
Yeah.
You got cast offs. That's what or like maybe you hadn't looked at like some of the stuff I donated the other day. I mean, some of it went straight to the trash. I threw 2 trash bag loads of stuff away the other day because it was things that after the fact, like I looked at it and I was like, dag, I missed that rip right there on the side of this thing. And not like, I mean, if it's a vintage piece and it's ripped, like you can sell it, trash, whatever. But dude, if it's a shoe that's not a boot, like the whole back sole is like shot out of it, like you gotta toss that thing, man. It's not worth hanging on to.
Or you got 2 shoes that don't match.
Yeah, I've done that. All right, question number 2, because I know Leroy's answer will be list your death pile, do not cross list it. But question number 2 is, do you change your holiday handling time? Are you trying to ship things out as quick as possible for your customers on the holidays? Or are you keeping your same holiday shipping?
All right, I'll go first. I was debating this, okay, and I talked about it with these gentlemen. Now, I always ship as soon as possible, okay? That's just out of habit because one of the reasons why is because I don't want it to pile up because especially for me, like I sell everything, so my shipping can be like very crazy sometimes. Like I love it when I sell 7 hats, 2 t-shirts, and salt and pepper shakers. That's a great, easy shipping, But when I sell a teapot, a driver, a 9-iron, a putter, a hat, a glass barware set, and a full-size football helmet, I'm like, damn it, this is gonna take me 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, I try to do it as fast as possible, and I was gonna move it up my shipping time. I just didn't do it. I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it or, for any specific reason. I just didn't get around to doing it, and it came out of nowhere. And here we are, whatever days it is from Christmas. I'm trying to pretend that it's not that close days away from Christmas. But, the other thing is that everybody's circumstance is different. I live in DC. My facility in which I store my items and my facility in which I ship from are in Maryland. So like it sucks for me. To just be perfectly honest with you. I'm eventually going to get to the day where I'm sitting in a cozy shed like this gentleman right here next to me. But right now I don't have that opportunity. So I have to travel. And sometimes it takes me 25 minutes to get there. Sometimes it takes me an hour to get there. Like that's the problem with living in a major city. You just don't know. So for me, I think it's best, obviously, if you can do it and it doesn't stress you out, according to the metrics that most people believe, that a quicker shipping time will increase your sales. But I think also if you ship, depending on the platform, obviously some platforms will tell you how fast somebody ships. You'll have like a fast shipper badge or whatever. And then on eBay, a lot of people will look at your feedback. I know not everybody, and it doesn't matter, but a majority of my feedback will state quick shipping or packaged well. And I think that, if hopefully that'll help people realize it, you know what I'm saying? You'll get those ones where people leave you feedback and say, arrived quicker than expected, those sort of things. Yeah. So I continuously ship, I probably go to the post office. I used to go to the post office 6 times a week. But now, because of my living situation and where everything is, I only go to the post office, you know what I'm saying, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. But still, it's just for me, it's about, if you can ship it, ship it. There's no point in putting it off, because, you know what I'm saying, it'll help your metrics and stuff like that. But should you change your shipping time? That's up to you. If you can handle it, and you're a full-timer and you have a situation where you can package it up immediately, then yeah, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Get that extra push in your store. But make sure you can do it before you do it, because otherwise, you know what I'm saying, people are going to be coming for that neck, and you don't want that at this time of year. So that's my advice. I rambled a little bit longer than I expected to. I apologize.
Chris, I'll let you go.
I do not change my shipping time during the fourth quarter. And I do have 2-day handling. I ship every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I will do what Tim said. Once it gets closer to the 18th, 19th, 20th of December, there'll be a couple of days there that I will ship extra. But I don't change that date. I just ship it early. So, the closer it gets to Christmas, there'll be that, because you'll start getting those emails about the 17th. 18th, hey, is my item going to make it on time? I get them every year, just like clockwork. You get it if you sell anything at all, you're going to get that message. If I order this now, is it going to make it on time on Christmas? And I've got 2-day handling, and then it says, December 26th or 27th on the delivery date. I'll email them back and say, hey, you know what? Buy it. I'll ship it out tomorrow or ship it out today. So there'll be a couple of days in between the 18th and about the 22nd. I'll make an extra day or 2 to ship, but I don't change my handling time. I just ship it early. And like Tim said, you're going to get the good feedback from it too. You may lose some sales. I'm not saying you won't, because, if you got that 1-day handling or same day handling, you might lose a couple of sales, but to me, it's not worth it. So.
Cernoch.
Yeah. So I ship every day because the post office is very close to me. And I can just go drop it off in the back, so there's no waiting. So it's like, why wouldn't I go? So I do 6 days a week. And I'm just gonna leave it. I have 1-day handling. On some of my newer items that are more competitive, like some of the new shoes and stuff, I've been doing one same day, but it cuts off at 11 a.m. So they have to order it by 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. To go the same day. So it's like, well, if I get something in at 10 o'clock in the morning, there's no excuse because my post office stays open until 6 p.m. in the back where I can go drop it off. So I have no excuse to not ship anything out if it's come in, in a reasonable amount of time. There's sometimes I'll have everything packed up. Oh, sold that item. All right, let me grab that one. Take it out with the rest of the stuff. So that's how I do it, just because I'm close to the post office. And I have access till 6 p.m. to the back, the back area of the post office, where I can just load my stuff on the dock and they're taking it. So I'm just gonna roll through it and listen. If someone gets mad that their package doesn't get there in time, so be it. Hey, return it. I'll send you a full refund. Thank you. Have a nice day. So that's how I look at it.
Leroy is shipping right now.
I know, right? On his label printer.
My turn.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know if we were going big screen. I was waiting for big screen.
You want the limelight, Leroy?
No, I don't. But that's what you normally do. No, to be honest with you guys, I ship 10 times a week. Because I actually pass the post office to go to a post office. So I'm pretty much like Cernoch. They call me the closer at my post office. I pretty much run my post office in my eyes. But I go in, they put stuff aside for me. I have a great relationship. They invite me to their Christmas parties. But all that being said, guys, honestly, the biggest thing, and these guys haven't really brought up it, is communication with your buyers. Is this item a Christmas present? Here's the deal. It's the 14th. I'm from what I know right now, all my packages are getting there on time. But if this is not a Christmas present, you're going to be good. There might be a little bit of delay. If this is for a Christmas present, this might not be the purchase for you because it seems like the postal office is starting to get a little bit lag and it might not get there on time. Communication with your buyer. Take a few seconds for you to send them an email or a message than it does to try to call eBay to have them fight for you because the person's mad because they didn't get it for Christmas. Communication with your buyers. Done.
Communicate with your buyers. That's true. I personally don't change my handling time. I will tell you this, Old School Picker got me on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday because, for me, trying to do other things in life, sometimes like Tuesday for me, generally I ship today when we film on Tuesdays. We do the listing and loafing on Tuesday. Typically, I do not ship on a Tuesday, but because of the time of the year, I'm trying to do more, like get it out quicker. And like I've sold like 4 items since we've been filming this show, which has been fantastic. But like I do try to ship early when I can, but I like having the cushion to know if something comes up, I can take that extra day. And honestly, to take the extra time to edit and do other things, work on other parts of my business to where it's not shipping constantly every day, it's been a benefit for that. So that's pretty much what we got as far as questions for the day. We do encourage you, like always, leave questions in the comments for us, please. And feature store of the day is obviously Chris Old School Picker. Go in there and get some Looney Tunes, guys. What's going on?
If Cernoch hasn't bought it already.
I know. I'm on my phone. I'm gonna go definitely check his store out.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. I saw some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, go on and hit him up there. Like I said, tell him RIN sent you over there. He's obviously sent us a ton of viewers, and we appreciate it. And Chris, we're going to let you get in some final words there.
Yeah, I just enjoy reselling. I said it in the intro. If you know 100 resellers, you know 100 different resellers. To go back to the post office thing, when I lived I just moved like a year and a half ago. When I lived in the other location, I shipped 5 days a week because I could go to the post office and be back in 5 minutes. Well, where I live now, if I just go to the post office and straight home, it's a 30-minute round trip. I'm not doing that if I've only got 2 or 3 items to go out that day. So I'm shipping 3 times a week, instead. But, just because I've got so many people think because everybody's got YouTube channels, they think they're something special. I'm nothing special. I just record what I do. I just buy stuff for cheap, sell it for a profit, and record what I do. I'm not really much of a teacher I don't like teaching people because I'm always afraid I'll tell some people wrong. So I just share what I do. If you can pick up some information, that's great. And like I said too earlier, I'm constantly trying to pick up information myself. I've picked up a ton of knowledge from these guys from watching their videos and also picking with them in person. I'd never bought a golf club before in my life. Before I met Eric, and he came up for the 127 sale and probably found $600 worth of golf clubs that trip.
In that one spot.
Guess what I was buying that next weekend? I was buying golf clubs, and since then, that's probably been 2 years. I've sold hundreds of golf clubs, and sell what you find. I can never stress that enough. If you're not finding vintage T-shirts, vintage hats, don't get frustrated. What do you find? Because guess what? You may find stuff that we can't find, and have the knowledge. Do I see glass like Tim does? I probably do, but it does me no good because I don't have the knowledge that Tim has about it. I'm learning, I'm trying to learn, but that comes from years and years and years of learning. Glass is not an easy category. Tim will tell you that. So always look to expand, but while you're expanding, what do you find? What do you find to sell? Because man, if you look hard enough, the easy part's buying. I mean, there's tons and tons of stuff to buy.
Yeah.
You just gotta be willing to put in the work and enjoy it, sell what you enjoy. Always start out with what you enjoy, because guess what? That's the stuff you have the most knowledge of, and just make it fun. And like I said, I'm nothing special. I just record what I do and put it out there. And if anybody wants to watch, they can. If they don't, I'll have a good history of. I started my YouTube channel. I told my kids and my wife, I said, if I die, you guys will have something to remember me by. So that's why I started it. Sure. I mean, my wife tried for 2 years before I started to get me to start doing one, and I hesitated. So if you're interested in doing the YouTube channel, just do it. Is it a grind? Oh God. If you think reselling's a grind, start making YouTube videos, because that is a grind. But enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it, I would have quit a long time ago, but I enjoy it. And the benefit was meeting all these great guys. So these guys over here are some of my best friends. So enjoy what you do, sell what you find, and have fun with it.
Leroy,
Go check out my channel.
Subscribe. Go check out his channel, and you can see him flip the light switch. I mean, I think that's my most exciting part. I want to sponsor the light. That's really what I want to do. I don't know if anybody's asked that yet, but I get first bids on the light.
I got you.
But I want to thank Chris a lot. I want to thank Chris for just being the person that he is. Again, I've got to meet him, and just after 5 minutes, I was like, oh my God, this is my brother. So we come from different places with different people, and because of what we love, we were able to build a friendship. So that's super awesome. Don't kill your landlord because he's making a lot of noise. Anyway, and I want to thank all the people who are still watching. If you guys are watching our channel and you've been watching, this is episode 11, which is awesome. Make sure you got Christmas presents to buy. Go in the bottom over here. My store's in there. Please buy some wrapping paper. I don't have much left, so try to buy 2 pieces before it's all gone. I just dropped the prices today, and like you guys heard me say, I ship out 10 days a week, 10 times a week. Yeah, something like that. I'm done. See ya.
Hey, big thanks to Eric, Tim, Leroy, and especially Chris. Eric's bringing on awesome guests. Every other week. We want to bring out cool guests just to get just different. You hear us blab all day on Tuesday, and then on Fridays but it's always refreshing to have a guest with just some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just something a little bit different, a little bit a way to think about something. So I want to appreciate Chris coming on today. I know he loves just doing his pre-recorded and doesn't do his live, but Chris, you killed it today. You did great. I think I made more mistakes. I want to see what the final count was, me jumping in and jumping out was. Jeez. So, but yeah, make sure, when y'all are watching, comment below.
Yep. Oh, there's another one.
He's going to win. He's going to win, guys.
2 hands.
I'm going over.
Take us out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to everybody who tuned in, not just today, but has tuned in to every episode. Big shout out. Listen, big shout out to Cernoch and Leroy. I mean, listen, we're doing this for you guys because we love you guys. And even with the internet problems, Leroy started out in his van. Cernochs had a day of everything that has broke, you know what I'm saying? And they're still here with a smile on their face. That just goes to show you how much we actually really do care about doing this for the viewers and being able to give back. I had a conversation with somebody who has helped me a lot, over the beginning journey of my reselling career, and giving me some advice and some tips on some new things to try today. And we talked about how important I told him, I said, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with these guys, because for me, it's important for people to be able to have this information available for free. And, this is my way and our way of giving back to people the same way that people have given to us information wise. And, he told me, he was like, I absolutely agree. And I wholeheartedly hope that this continues to catch on. And that's the goal here, is because we want to make sure that this gets out to as many people as possible, not to make the big bucks, but to make a big impact. And that's what's really important to me and to all these guys here on the panel. Once again, as always, I want to reiterate to drop those questions and comments on all the videos, because it allows us an opportunity to have a new topic to talk about the next show and to continue to help, which is what the plan is here. Big shout out to Old School Picker. I finally got the opportunity to get down to 127 this year and hang out with him. And literally was the first person, him and Jimmy were the first two people that Josie and I saw when we got into the first sale parking lot. I was like, I think that's Chris and Jimmy right there, Josie. And then literally it just started the ball for that whole entire trip, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The hospitality that Chris showed us was just unmeasurable. It was a trip that Josie and I will never forget, and super grateful for everything. Super grateful for him to come on here and for him spreading the word about what we're doing here. It means a lot to us at Reseller Information Network. But don't forget, those coupon codes are still in the description. Go if you want to buy something, you guys can get it for cheap. Those coupon codes are exclusive to the people that watch these videos. So definitely a big shout out to all the viewers. We appreciate each and every one of you. And don't forget to go out there and tell a friend to tell a friend about RIN, Reseller Information Network.